Oh, wow.
Hey guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. So excited. I love at the very beginning when all of you who are waiting to get in the room are able to get in a few minutes early. So, welcome to Coffee with Clients. So, today we're going to be talking about element 9, and the element's called How Do We Use Our Fuelings to Reach a Healthy Weight? So, all of you on here hopefully are using the fuelings to reach a healthy weight. And with that, I would love to introduce my co host, who is also an independent Optavia coach, Cassandra Reagan, who's going to actually teach us a little bit. So sit back, get your pen out, get your life book out. I have my life book right with my Habits of Health book right next to me because this is so important. And Cassandra, teach us how this element can help us in our health journey.
Absolutely. Okay, you guys. Well, first of all, I just want to say the fact that you are on here right now is a big deal because you're taking time out of your day to educate yourself. And you know what? The fuelings, which we're going to be talking about today, they are just 1/4 of the program. Okay, you've got your coach, you've got your community. And what I always say to my clients is, these are all tools in your tool belt to have optimal health. But the Habits of Health Transformation System, and if you have been engaging your life book, which I think you have because you're here, this will get you to goal and anchor you there. You can be in the community and your coach could be texting you and you can be doing the fuelings, but if you don't engage and embrace the things that are being taught, you may get to goal, but you won't be anchored there. So this is about anchoring you. And so obviously, if you're on the program, you know what the fuelings are. It was one of the first things maybe your coach told you when he or she was introducing you to the program. And you may even think you know everything there is to know about fuelings. And maybe people didn't jump on here today because they're like, oh, I know fuelings. I know fuelings. I eat fuelings every day. But let's talk about the fuelings. What are they? Why are they effective? Why do we use them? Right? Okay, so the fuelings, simply, he chose fuelings because he wanted to change how we look at how we feed our body, that we are fueling our body, truly fueling our body with balanced nutrition. So one, it's balanced. Two, it has everything we need in it. It has we know about fuelings. We know they have the vitamins and the minerals. Do you know that if you get all 5 fuelings, you get 5 grams of fiber per fueling, and you need 25 grams minimum of fiber each day to help prevent colon cancer. You guys, my gastroenterologist was amazed when I read the nutritional information. He wanted me to go on a fiber supplement. I'm like, I don't have to do that. And he said, yeah, you do. Everybody doesn't get enough fiber. I said, I get enough fiber. So he says, well, read me the nutrition label. And I read it. He goes, that's fantastic. 5 grams of fiber. And I was like, yeah, it's this program I do. It's pretty cool. So I got to tell him about my program, right? So it has everything you need. Now, one thing that Dr. A says, and he says this, while whole foods are better for you, our first area of focus needs to be getting down to a healthy weight. Rest assured, our goal over time as you progress on your journey is to have most of your daily fuelings come from whole food. The problem is we've all been exposed to whole food. We know where it is in the grocery store. We know exactly where to go get the whole food, right? Has it been effective in helping you reach a healthy weight in a reasonable period of time? No. Why is that? Because we don't know what to do with it, right? Because you can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you don't have the habits, it's not going to be effective. So the fuelings are what we use to get everybody the balanced nutrition they need while we are implementing the habits of health and making them become a permanent part of our life so that when we get to that healthy weight, we can then just transition into more whole foods. And it's not going to be overwhelming and it's not going to be too complicated because the habit of eating 6 times a day, every 2 to 3 hours, getting our water in, getting the sleep, becoming more active, that has become automated. And as we have learned thus far on Coffee with Clients with habit implementation, automated just simply means you don't even think about it anymore. It's just what you do. So with our fuelings, why are they effective? Okay, so in a minute, I'm going to read something that Dr. A said one day an event that we had gone to that just struck me incredibly. But the first thing, the reason that most of us struggle, the reason that most of the country struggles with obesity is because we have time poverty. He says it himself. We are overstretched. We are stressed out. We are going from one thing to the next. And what we depend on and what we fall back on is fast food. So fuelings become, the prepackaged fuelings become the solution to our busy lifestyle. It is the answer. It's healthy fast food. It's portable, it's convenient, and it's everything we need. So that automatically addresses one of the main issues why we struggle with obesity in the United States today. I'm going to tell you, guys, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying I was on the phone all day working my job, and I jumped in the car, drove an hour to a basketball practice, sat in the car, didn't have supper, forgot to feed most of my family. I had my fuelings in my car. I fed myself. That's a good mom right there for you. So I fed myself my fuelings, drove back, got home about 8:30 last night. And I am pretty much the standard now for most moms my age with little kids to teenagers. You guys, our busy schedule is literally killing our nation. We're too busy. Okay, so it addresses that issue. All right, so now why are they effective? Well, going back, let's talk about the main issue with the current fast food choices. They are high glycemic, high fat with saturated fat, and they're full of highly refined white flour and sugar, and it is super high glycemic. Now, the reason this plan is incredible is because it is a low glycemic plan with lean protein and healthy fat. The low glycemic, just understand, this is the magic word for these fuelings, and I'm about to explain why. Okay, so in section 2.3 of the Habits of Health, you can go back. There is something called a glucose insulin response curve. And essentially, it explains what happens inside our body when we eat that white flour, high sugar. Okay, so this is the baseline. This is where your sugar kind of should be, right? So you eat something that's high glycemic, refined sugar, white flour, your blood sugar should be right here on the baseline, but it shoots up. Your body releases insulin, and insulin pushes the sugar down. That's the whole point of the insulin, is to bring your sugars back down. Well, with the American diet, I'm just going to stick with the American diet. With the American diet, our diet is chronically full of high glycemic processed foods that are garbage, not whole foods. So our sugars run high constantly. This is the American diet. So what happens is we have chronically high insulin levels in the United States. We think it's the high sugar, and it is. It's not good. But we think it's the high sugar that's causing all the havoc in our body, but it's the high insulin levels. And he explains this in section 2.3, I think, 2.2, 2.3. Essentially, chronically high insulin levels, it causes high cholesterol. There's a whole dynamic that actually high insulin causes high cholesterol. There's inflammation, chronic inflammation. That's why a week on this plan, your body stops hurting and you have only lost 3 or 4 pounds. 3 or 4 pounds should not affect pain in your body, but it does. Not because of the weight lost, because you have turned off your insulin pump and balanced your blood sugars. Chronically high insulin levels will cause inflammation in your joints, in your body, actually in the arteries, and cause inflammation in your heart, increasing your risk for heart disease, right? So it causes metabolic syndrome, and chronically high insulin levels causes you to be a fat storage machine. Okay. Our fuelings, because they're low glycemic, paired with low glycemic carbs and a protein together, the impact, your blood sugars don't go high, so your insulin levels stay low, turns off your insulin pump. Suddenly, the inflammation in your body goes away. Suddenly, you're not hurting as much, so you're sleeping through the night. Suddenly, you're not hungry anymore. Why are you not hungry anymore? Well, let's look at this. When you eat high glycemic carbs, your sugar shoots up, the insulin is released and pushes down your sugar. Well, it doesn't stop at baseline. It pushes it way down here. And when your blood sugar drops down here, it signals your brain that says, I need more energy. And suddenly you're starving. Like you're stocking your refrigerator and your pantry, looking for the next thing, like a lion stalking a gazelle. Like you need some carbs and you need it now. It's because that insulin made your blood sugar drop. But with our Fuelings, eating every 2 to 3 hours, low glycemic carbs, insulin pump is turned off and your blood sugars are balanced. That's the beauty of our fueling system. And that's why your clients are like, oh my gosh, I'm not hungry. Like, just to be honest, let's just keep it real. My husband, the first time he saw one of those bars, he goes, what am I supposed to do with that? Right? Because he's a big man. He took 3 bites, but it had everything he needed. And after that day, he was like, I wasn't hungry. And I'm like, nope, we turned off your insulin pump. Okay. So that's the beauty behind eating every 2 to 3 hours. That's why it's low glycemic. Y'all, you're low glycemic forever. I'm just going to tell you, even when we transition you and get you into maintenance and you're eating more fruit, when you eat fruit, which is sugar, you're going to pair it with a protein, the glycemic impact will be, we're going to teach you all of that, right? So that's the beauty of eating every 2 to 3 hours with low glycemic Fuelings. So I'm going to take a second. I'm going to let Chantel just kind of feed into that.
I love that. For me, my personality is if I can understand something, then I can do something, right? And at the beginning, I didn't understand as much as I understand now, or even what Cassandra's explaining. She's a master teacher. But what I understood was you eat every 2 to 3 hours, you keep that metabolism going, and you're going to burn fat. So at the very beginning, that's what I needed to know. Now I understand that I don't have those crashes anymore from 3 to 5 in the afternoon, when you're looking for sugar or caffeine to keep going the rest of the day. Now it made sense because of our Fuelings why that wasn't happening. And guys, this is so important because we're not just teaching you like to eat the 5 Fuelings every 2.5 hours, 2 to 3 hours, with your lean and green. We're not just teaching you that. These are lifelong transformations. And I don't know about you, but I never want to put my body back into that state I was in before, knowing what I know now. Because you know what? Knowledge is power. And now you have the knowledge to never want to go back again. So thank you, Cassandra. I can't wait to hear the rest of this.
All right. I have to say, Chantel Seneca is my coach. So I'm proud to be under her. So let me read you something that Dr. A said, because it really shifted things for me. I remember telling people I was on this incredible plan and I was busy and I needed something simple and I didn't have to think about it. But when I started telling people, oh, I just eat these bars or these shakes, these Fuelings, 5 times, I have my lean and green, I don't have to think about it. Occasionally I would come across people who would kind of snarl their upper lip and just be like, well, I don't eat processed things. This is the thing. Meal replacements are widely accepted to be incredible for health in the fitness community. So the people who are snarling their lip, they're not necessarily in the fitness community, but it's widely accepted that this is something that's incredible, right? But I started thinking like, oh, well, yeah, they are processed. What is, they're prepackaged, they're made. So let's just break that down. I want you to understand. Yes, this is what Dr. A says. He says this. Yes, it's true. Bars don't grow on trees, right? Because we are going to shift to whole foods. He teaches you in your one meal how to begin to create whole food meals. And that's the goal. But he says this. Yes, it's true. Bars don't grow on trees. We make them. However, processed food basically is designed on making it cheaply. And because they take all the ingredients and they grind them up and they use, the high glycemic white flour and finely refined sugars, corn syrup, which is highly addictive, it becomes very high glycemic. Now, I've already explained the whole glycemic thing to you. So that food is terrible for you. It's full of high fructose corn syrup And what happens is your glycemic index shoots up and your blood sugar shoots up. And our program is specifically designed around low glycemic foods that can control your insulin pump and balance your blood sugar. So the first thing we need is more portable foods. So these fuelings are low glycemic, like we've said. They're portable, like we've said. They're easy. If you remember from the habit implementation, I think element 3 or 4, one of the key ways to create a habit is to make it easy. It's got to be easy. The harder it is, the harder it will be to implement. So it's got to be easy, and it's got to be balanced nutrition. And the thing is about our Fuelings that they are scientifically determined doses of energy. Y'all, it's everything you need. Okay. So let's talk about strategies for using the Fuelings. Now, phase 1, we know, is our weight loss phase. There's a phase 2 and there's a phase 3. Most of us here are in phase 1. And in phase 1, there is going to be a strategy. And we all should know this strategy. It's not rocket science. What do we say? The plan is simple, but it's not necessarily easy, because easy involves telling ourselves no, right? And that's the hard part. So basically, there are 3 components. You choose the 5 Fuelings, you prepare a lean and green meal, and you use the Habits of Health clock to space the 6 Fuelings out over every 3-hour period of time. So Emily, can you throw that Habits of Health clock up? So this, you guys, I took a picture of this and sent it to Emily out of my book. So it's a little blurry, but I apologize. If you will notice, there's a 24-hour period. All right. What he has here is about 6:30 or 7, about 9 o'clock, 6 or 7, 9 o'clock, looks about noon or 1. And then it gets into military time, which means my head has to add. So then maybe my veterans can help me here. But I think 2,100 hours, isn't that like 10 o'clock? I don't know. I know some of y'all are in the military. Okay. I want you to notice something though. Yes, it's every 3 hours. One of the Fuelings is the lean and green. But look, a 10 o'clock Fueling. Some of you just gasped in your heart because you were told, you can take that down, Emily. Some of you just gasped in your heart, a 10 o'clock Fueling, that is too late. Everyone knows if you eat that late, like it's not, your metabolism isn't going to burn it or whatever. You guys, can we all just come to the conclusion that maybe what we were taught in the past isn't valid? Maybe it's not correct, right? You guys, you can eat at 11 o'clock. You're feeding your body every 3 hours. And what happens when you turn that insulin pump off, you become a fat burning machine, because there's not all this free floating glucose in your bloodstream that your body is having to burn, but you are now burning fat. So you can eat at 11 o'clock at night. I know some of you are like, oh, I can't do it. Well, then go to bed earlier. Don't stay up till 10, right? So look at that clock. And now we know not everybody has those hours. This program is so flexible, you guys. I eat every 2 hours in the morning because that is my hungry time. 8, 10, and 12, baby, every single day. And then my kids come home and chaos just takes off, and it's like 3 o'clock after that. And then it's 5:30 or 6, and it's 7:30, 8, 8:30. It just varies. But you do this plan in the way that works for you. All right. Now, so there is you have to have a strategy. So Chantel is going to talk really quick about strategy.
Yeah. So, one of the things I always tell my clients, right, when we're doing that night before call or at any point during a support call, is this: have a plan. And like when I first started, guys, this is what I did. Now, I'm a planner by nature. Okay. And I know some people are not. I am. So, but if you're not, this is really simple to do. So, what I did is always the night before, know what my lean and green is going to be the next day. See, the Fuelings are easy. They're easy. You don't have to think. The lean and green, you actually have to think about. And we want you to start thinking about that, right? We want you to start thinking, what does 5 to 7 ounces of lean protein look like? We want you to start thinking, what does 3 servings of vegetables look like? So if you plan that out the night before and have a plan with that, a strategy with that, you're going to have so much more success on your journey. So when I first started my plan, September of 2017. I remember thinking this. I took out my 5 Fuelings the night before and laid them out. And because I'm a little OCD, I wrote the times on them, right? Like I'm gonna have this one at 6:30, then this at 9, and I wrote the times on them and I laid them out on the cabinet. And then my lean and green, I would put a little sticky and I would say, okay, I'm going to have salad, a cup and a half of salad or 3 cups of salad, whatever I was putting in my salad. And then I was going to have my chicken, right? Whatever. So like I would make the plan and I would lay it out the night before because this is what I have learned about life. Just when you think you have it together, you're going to get a curveball thrown at you, right? And if you don't have a plan, you many a times can fail. But when you have a plan and life throws a curveball at you, think you have a strategy. Like I'm going to stay with this. So for example, I'm gonna give you one example. Yesterday, my mother-in-law, my husband's an only child, my mother-in-law failed. That wasn't on the plan yesterday. And so I have this little Adidas little um, lunchbox. And so as soon as I got the call, like literally, I threw my waters in there and I threw my Fuelings in there and I took off. I didn't get home till very late last night, but did not miss a beat. I didn't know where I was going to end up. I didn't want to get stuck even being tempted to drive through a fast food line. I had a plan. And I'm telling you, if you have a strategy of a plan, you won't fail. Did I want to stress eat? Oh, heck yes. By the way, my mother-in-law's fine. She's back at home with her sitter, but that could have been something that would have totally threw me off of my goals. But I don't want to get off my goals. So I just had a plan. Those Fuelings are perfect for in a time like that. I couldn't be home fixing my whole foods, my healthy foods. I'm like, you know what? This is to go. I just put in the chat. It's the healthiest fast food you're ever gonna find. Cassandra.
So you guys, this was a very short element, the element 9. And I applaud you guys for getting on here, even though you probably knew all there was to know about Fuelings. But I will say this. These Fuelings, they were designed by physicians, nutritionists, and scientists to give you everything you need and to provide for our body. And the power behind them is that it's balanced nutrition. This isn't keto. This isn't low fat, which is higher carb. Do you remember the low fat craze back in the 90s? And we all thought we were doing really good eating, those Snackwell chocolate cookies because it was fat-free, baby. And I mean, I would eat box after box after that. And somehow I wasn't losing weight. But I was eating healthy because it was fat-free, right? Look, you guys, it's balanced. And because it's low glycemic carbs paired with lean protein, you look at the nutrition, right? And a little bit of healthy fat, it gives you everything you need. You don't lose muscle. And I'll tell my clients this, if you don't get enough protein in your diet, your body will cannibalize your own. I love using that word. It's so dramatic. And they're like, oh no, I don't want it to cannibalize my muscle. Essentially, it's going to use your muscle, but cannibalizing is so much more dramatic. And it gets the point across, but that is the truth. That's the beauty of this program. Because you get the perfect amount of protein, your body doesn't utilize your own. And speaking of other misconceptions that we've learned, right? One of the misconceptions that a low calorie diet equals starvation mode. Oh no, it's low calorie diet. You're going to get starved. Look, you guys, malnourishment makes you starve, right? If you are malnourished, you will starve, right? This plan is so nutrition dense. I have people eating 3,000 calories a day and they are so malnourished because they get no nutrition. Our program, these Fuelings are so packed with all the nutrition you need, everything that you don't lose your muscle as you lose weight, you turn off your insulin pump, you feel incredible because you have the energy because your body is burning fat, not sugar. So I'm so proud that you guys got on here. I hope you learned a little bit. Guys, Chantel, are you there? Did you
I'm
have
here.
did you
I'm
have a
here.
challenge for our people?
Yes,
She's
I
going to challenge
do.
you guys.
And this is actually going to give you 2 challenges. I thought about it. I'm going to give you 2 because I think sometimes we get away from the simple accountability, not only to our coach, but to ourselves. And for me, the biggest accountability, or when I have a client that's stuck, just put a 1 in the chat if sometimes, even with doing the Fuelings and doing all the stuff, you feel stuck. Anybody out there like that? Just like I just feel stuck. Yeah, I know. I know it happens. It happens to me. And here's what I want to tell you. If I'm working with the client, if your coach was working with you, one of the ways we can help you get unstuck is to have you start journaling again. If you can remember in your guide at the very beginning, that first week we had the journals happening. And I'm telling you, I can go back to my first guide, September of 2017, and I journaled that first week. I put what time I ate, what fueling I ate. If I put a piece of sugar-free gum in my mouth, I wrote that down, how much water I had. Like I was on it. And then I also saw the success of that, like almost 8 pounds down that first week, right? And so sometimes when I get stuck, it's usually here that it's happening. And so I will work with my coach and I'm like, hey, I need to do a couple of days of sending you my journal. I need the accountability to write it down and I need the accountability of sending it to you. So my challenge, my first challenge is to you this week is to how about let's journal again? How about, and if you have never journaled, it's a game changer, right? So how about journaling again? Pull out those guides, get a piece of paper, do it on your notes on your phone, like whatever. But let's journal again. And honestly, not just journal what you're eating, but like journal what time you eat, how much water you've had. Are you adding anything to the fuelings? They don't really need anything. Are you adding anything to the fuelings, right? Are you popping a few little almonds in your mouth and before you know it, it's the whole bag, right? Like what are we journal that? Like, and then your coach can really help guide you on where we can tweak some things at. So your coach is your biggest resource to help with that. Second challenge. Is everybody good with that? That's everybody. Anybody want to get back to journaling or want to try it for the first time? It really will help. Okay. Second thing I want to challenge you with is I said earlier, and I'm this is on my heart, this lifeline, because I didn't finish telling a story of my mom who needed the help. So my mom ended up losing 85 pounds in less than 9 months with, wait for it, no thyroid. She does not have a thyroid. Amazing. She's kept that off almost 4 years now. She's done amazing. Guys, if I didn't throw her that lifeline, I'm not sure, like she's living her best life. Like I'm not sure where she would be at today. And I'm so thankful that I have a healthy mom today because I decided to throw a lifeline, something that was working for me. We have to share hope. So my second challenge is today, find someone that you can throw a lifeline to today. So guys, have a great Friday. Have a great weekend. Be a weekend warrior and let's meet our goals. So see you guys next Friday.